Your life begins in a filthy, starving village during the Qing Dynasty. You are the fifth son of a poor farmer whose debts are bigger than his teeth. In this era, your choices are simple. Die of hunger when the crops fail, die from bandits, or take the fast track to the imperial palace. One day, your father looks at you with capitalist love in his eyes and says, "For the family, would you like to become a government official in the Forbidden City?" At 10 years old, you nod excitedly, dreaming of silk clothes, delicious food, and palace luxury. You have no idea the main requirement for this job isn't education or talent, it's sacrificing your future. Welcome to the Imperial Castration Clinic, extreme surgery specialists. There is no modern anesthesia here. Instead, they give you warm opium tea that tastes like dirty water and chili soup to keep you conscious. Because if you pass out, you can't give verbal consent. The cutter asks one final time, "Will you regret this?" Your father answers from the corner, "No, the money is already in front of us." And then, zap. The Qing method is an all-inclusive package, not just the testicles. Your entire command stick is cut flush with your stomach. After the operation, they insert a goose feather into your urethra as an emergency catheter. Two assistants then force you to walk in circles for 3 hours straight so your blood doesn't clot and kill you on the spot. For the next 3 days, you're locked in a dark room with no water. On the third day, they remove the feather. If you can piss, congratulations, you survived infection and are now an apprentice eunuch. If not, at least your family has one less mouth to feed. Oh, and your removed parts, they're preserved in a special jar called bao, your treasure. Your senior will keep it as insurance of your loyalty. After you heal, you finally step into the Forbidden City. It's beautiful, majestic, and filled with thousands of the emperor's women you are forbidden to touch, not because of rules, but because you no longer have the tool. You are now safe in the emperor's eyes to guard his concubines. But don't expect power immediately. You start at the very bottom, cleaning the chamber pots of the concubines. You sweep 5-kilometer corridors in snowstorms and get beaten with bamboo sticks for the smallest mistakes. Your career is like a modern corporate internship, except your boss can legally behead you if he's in a bad mood. The hormone changes hit hard. Your voice becomes high-pitched, you never grow a beard, and you struggle with bladder control. The smell of a new eunuch isn't expensive perfume. It's urine poorly masked by cheap powder. 5 years of cleaning piss pots and sweeping snow turn the innocent 10-year-old into a cynical 15-year-old. You realize that working honestly will only make you an old eunuch who freezes to death in a corner. The palace is not a place for honest men. It is the deadliest political circus on earth. You develop your own corporate strategies for survival. Strategy 1. Learn to read. Most eunuchs are illiterate. You bribe a senior with months of saved wages to study classical Mandarin. Suddenly you become valuable. Strategy 2. Find a powerful mentor. You become his loyal dog, massaging feet, tasting food for poison, spying. When he dies mysteriously, you inherit his network. Strategy 3. Seize the golden moment. You secretly move a voodoo doll to destroy a rival concubine and save your patron. She promotes you to head eunuch of her pavilion. Strategy 4. Control information. You build an informal intelligence ministry. You know everyone's dirty secrets, and you use them elegantly. You become the key opinion leader of the palace. Everyone needs you to keep their heads attached to their necks. 20 years later, your patron becomes empress. You rise with her to the very top as the head eunuch of the empress's residence. You are rich. You own a grand mansion outside the palace. You even adopt sons from your village to continue your family name, a desperate act from a man who knows his bloodline ended forever on that operating table. But success has a price. Without male hormones, aging hits you strangely. Your face wrinkles smoothly without a beard. Your voice remains a high-pitched squeak. The bladder problems are worse. Servants constantly powder you to hide the urine smell. Worst of all is the paranoia. Every young eunuch sweeping your room looks like the younger version of yourself, waiting for you to slip so they can poison you. All good things end, especially in ancient China where dynasties change as fast as social media trends. The emperor dies, rebels burn the palace. In one night your power evaporates. You are thrown out with only the clothes on your back and one precious item, your preserved treasure jar that you bought back at great cost. You spend your final years in an old temple for retired eunuchs. Your body is frail, your joints destroyed from decades of kneeling. When death finally comes at age 60 on a hard straw mat, there is no grand funeral, but a few old eunuchs gather around your stiff corpse. With trembling hands, they open your treasure jar and sew your preserved parts back onto your dead body using rusty needles and silk thread. This final ritual is the only honor left to you, because according to belief, you must face your ancestors in the afterlife as a complete man. History will never record your name or your tears. Textbooks will only write about the glory of the great dynasty, never caring about the thousands of poor boys who had to cut away their own humanity just so that glory could continue. Yeah,